Good afternoon, everyone. Hey guys, this is Bruce Marshall from Simpler Trading with the nightly market update for Wednesday, January the 10th. Happy January, happy hump day, and hope your week is going well, hope your trading is going well, and hope you were bullish today because we got a pretty decent run higher. This week's been a little bizarre after last week, and the market is definitely sending mixed signals our way, and we're going to talk about that and kind of what to expect. And we may have some changing things as early as tomorrow. So let me get this out of the way. This is the NASDAQ and the Russell. In case you're wondering, that's what they did today. Kind of the same thing. We're getting a little bit different reaction from the Russell, but the NASDAQ and the ES are steadily going higher. But let's look at this. So the ES went up. We closed up about 27. I think we were up about 37 at one point up here. This is the overnight session. It was chopping along, a little spike up, and we came down here. Now this was right before the open, and I'm looking. We were down slightly. We're down a little bit, and I was like, well, this doesn't look good. And then we got a rip higher right into that's a voodoo fire line right there. Right into that, failed. See that level right there? That's a voodoo skyline. Hit that level, bounced, came all the way back up. Didn't quite fill the gap, but we almost did. And then we just start this march up here, and we hit it a couple of times, and I'm thinking this thing might fail back down, and instead we went through it, and I'm like, well, we're off to the races, and we came back down, up under it. Anytime you cross a major line like that, it's, when you're approaching it, it's resistance. When you go through it on the upside and you come back down, it tends to act as support, on the downside. So very important to watch your levels. We're still going here. I don't know what happened here, and I was in the live trading room. I did 2 room sessions today, and at Simpler on our site, and I'm looking at this, and I'm kind of halfway joking, saying, thinking, CPI data got leaked. But I mean, this was pretty unusual, that much of a run straight up, and then a little consolidation is straight up again. And as you know, or may not know, we have CPI tomorrow morning before the open. And when I see a move like that, I didn't. It could have been any number of things. It might have been the Bitcoin news that came out, or whatever. I don't know. But whenever I see a move that big, kind of out of left field, it always makes me scratch my head and go, is this just algo's gone wild or what? And of course we don't know. But let me show you what that means. Let's go here and go to a 20-day chart. So right here was our prior. This is ES. That's our prior all-time high. And this was last year, 2023, and we're ripping. You see this Wednesday, that was a Fed meeting. Boom, we're off to the races, and it's just never coming back. And then we had this big, giant reset down here, about 100 points, and then one day, and then we're back off to the races here. This was the last trading day of the year, and I thought we were going to take out this high and go this way, and instead we rolled over, puked. I talked about this in last week's video. And then, we just started this kind of meltdown, and I'm looking at this going, okay, this looks like the start of a downtrend. And we had Monday was a holiday, but Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, down. And then here we come in, and I'm thinking this might continue, this is a trend starting down, right? And instead, we not only broke out, we rip straight up all the way back up to our fire line here. And then we failed, and we came back down to our snow line. These are voodoo lines, if you're not aware or not familiar with those. Those are based on Elliott wave. And then we rip back up again to our fire line and come back down. This time, I'm thinking, maybe we fail again or not, and we went straight through it like it's not even there. So we are getting very close again to that all-time high. Now, I'm going to switch this over to SPX, and because we're more familiar with SPX, and you can see it's a little more visual there. But check this out. Let's go to a 1-year chart, and I'm going to switch these over to my no, these are micros. Hold on. Switch this over to voodoo lines. Sorry. If I hit the right one, there we go. Okay. So we came right back up. You see that green line? That is a tree line, green for trees. And of course, we're right there. And what will happen tomorrow morning before the open, we have CPI. Now, CPI is our inflation gauge, one of our inflation gauges, right? Our data points. Before the open, Friday morning, we'll have PPI, another big inflation data point, right? And the Fed will be watching to see what's happening and what to make of that. And the reason that's important is the Fed will say, okay, the CPI number came in high or low. If it came in high, inflation is ticking up a little bit, and maybe we won't cut rates as soon, or maybe we might even have to raise rates again. That's going to freak out the market if the Fed has to end up, hiking rates. Don't think that'll happen, but anything's possible. And on the other side, if we come in with a cool number, inflation does indeed show that inflation is cooling down and things are getting back to normal, then we're kind of potentially off to the races to the upside. So we're at a pivotal point here, back to the all-time high, and with some important data coming out again tomorrow and Friday as well before the open. Now, the Fed meeting will be on January 31st. They're not going to do anything. They're not expected to do anything at that Fed meeting as far as any changes. Hold on just a second. I'm going to confirm this meeting date for you guys. Yeah, January 31st. I just want to make sure. I didn't want to tell you wrong. There's I think it's a 95.3% chance that they will leave rates unchanged, etc. So nothing is going to happen at this meeting. There is no Fed meeting in February, but there's one in March. So the end of March, it's on the 20th. That's when the first real possibility of a rate cut will come into play. Now, when we get a rate cut, if we get a rate cut, of course, the market's going to like that, and it's going to spur the economy, and everybody's going to be happy and all that kind of stuff. We go higher. I think that there's a pretty good chance that we pull back, catch our breath, and then run higher into or around that March meeting. So that gives us, quite a good bit of time here. Now, in the meantime, during all this time, we've got earnings season. Earnings season also kicks off this Friday with some of the money center banks and all that kind of stuff, and we'll really kind of start in the next couple of weeks. And then we have the Mag 7, the big tech's going to start reporting the first week or two of February. So that'll kind of take spotlight. And earnings may be great, and we may not do this. We may just keep going. We're pretty extended by any metric to keep on the same trajectory. A significant amount is not near as likely. Again, of course, anything can happen. So I'm expecting some kind of pullback here. Normal pullback. I'm not expecting us to crash and all that kind of stuff. But, just be aware. We talked about this last week in last week's video. But let me show you one other point here. That this is, I'm a visual person, so check this out. All right. This shows you what, this is back to 1991. You see when you hit these tops, it took from this top here in 2000, it took basically 8 years to get back up to that level. And here, it's taken 1 year, year and a half, something like that, 2 years. I don't know what's going to happen. We should, if we do start getting rate cuts, we're expected to get 3 rate cuts this year, and that'll be great. We'll keep going. This is a pretty steep trajectory. This is all through QE. QE was all right here, and that's where we get this vertical stuff, right? That's not going to continue happening, but rate cuts can keep pushing us higher. But I guess the other, the more important thing to look at here is the, the double tap of this tree line here, at least for now. I don't know that we just easily glide through this and keep going. I think good chance we get rejected and come back down. And let's put this on well, you can see it right there. And this, and looking back, this is where COVID started. And that, remember how horrific this free fall was? That looks like peanuts compared to, the rebound and then kind of what's happened since then. And we thought this was pretty bad, right? And it was at the time. But again, if you notice there, you see that 50%, we could pull back there, catch our breath, and go back and continue this, this trend higher. Now that level is 40 SPX 44, say 44.50. Will we get that low? I don't know. I don't know if we'll get that low. There it is, 44.47. Maybe. And again, I kind of trade delta neutral, so if it goes down, I'll we'll short it on the way down. If it goes up, we'll just keep buying it. We've been bullish all through this, and it's been working great. But again, the kind of the bigger picture thing here is, I'm not. Well, I am. I was going to say I'm not predicting a pullback, but I am. I think we will get a reversion to the mean back down to here in the next couple of weeks, I think. And then we'll kind of be waiting to see how earnings season really plays out with the big techs. A lot of the companies don't matter that much. The industry leading companies will, but the big tech, the Mag 7, all that kind of stuff, that'll really kind of push and pull us. So we'll see. I do think we get a little retracement back down here, probably into these 34 EMAs for then a move higher. It's going to surprise me if we go straight up from here. It won't shock me, but I will say that's not what I was expecting. But we'll see. Again, I do this video once a week, and join me next Wednesday, and we'll be past all this data points, and we'll know by then. We'll know by Friday probably if this is going to break down or keep going. And again, I'm not short this. I'm actually short the diamonds, DIA. Let me show that real quick. In a small way, right here. This gap needs to be filled. This, in my opinion, should come back here and test these levels somewhere around here before then going higher. Again, I don't know if this will happen or not, but that's the way that I'm kind of positioned. I'm net long. I'm still net long. So don't get me wrong. I'm not talking black swan, and I'm not just shorting this thing hand over fist. I'm very delicately shorting this thing, small hedge wise, and still positioned to the upside, because we're riding the trend until it changes, but I think that change is possibly coming sooner than later. So we shall see. But even if it does or doesn't, I will be looking to reload and get long for March, probably option expiration going to that Fed meeting. So anyway, that is the gist of what I'm thinking, what I'm seeing. As far as individual names, really, of course, everybody's looking at NVIDIA. Should we buy Apple? Should we buy Boeing because of the plane stuff? Apple's pulled back. It's kind of all of the, look at this. Apple looks pretty interesting to buy here. NVIDIA looks like it's off to the moon. Don't really want to buy it, but don't want to short it. Boeing, plane problems. Do you want to buy that here? Catch a falling knife? Probably not yet. So bottom line, as far as individual names, I'm not seeing a lot. I'm going to hold tight, especially with CPI and PPI tomorrow. I'm going to get a little more direction from this market and see how it plays out, and we'll get back on it next week with individual names. I am trading the indexes. I'm trading the S&P and looking in the diamonds and looking to add some stuff in the NASDAQ and the RUT as well. But other than that, fairly light, and we'll just play it day by day and see what we get. But be aware, CPI in the morning before the open, then PPI Friday morning before the open, and we'll see what we get. So thanks for the time. Let me know if I can help, or any of us at Simpler. We have some great traders at Simpler, and join us over there in the live trading rooms. We'll go over this stuff all day long. So thanks for the time, guys. I appreciate it, and I will talk to you soon. Take care.
Without Simpler Trading, I could not have financial independence.
This is one of the best investments I ever made in my life.
It's helping me find consistency.
It's one of the things that won me